Welcome back to Sip and Talk. We're here again, ready to get into some fascinating global stuff.
Great to be here. You know, it's easy to get lost in all the headlines flying around.
Totally.
So what we try to do is kind of peel back those layers, right? Understand what's really going on underneath.
Exactly. And today we're tackling, well, a really significant topic. We're calling this one China Possessed, a Nation Under Marxist-Leninist Haunting.
Mm-hmm. It sounds dramatic, maybe, but it's actually a really useful way to think about China today.
It is. So our mission for you today really is to help you understand how China's government operates globally, you know, how it tries to influence other countries.
Right. And we'll also look at some, well, contradictions within China itself, big ones. And maybe most importantly, help you see the difference between the ruling party, the CCP, and the actual people of China.
Yeah, that distinction is key. We want to give you some quick, vital insights. It's complex, but we'll break it down.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's jump right in. We're starting with how the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, pushes its influence way beyond its own borders. They use this thing called the United Front strategy.
The United Front, yeah.
And it's not just, you know, tanks and planes. It's social, it's media, academia, even politics. It's kind of everywhere.
That's exactly it. You could call it soft power, I guess, but it often has this coercive edge to it.
Right.
The United Front is basically Beijing's long game influence machine. It's this big coordinated effort trying to co-opt influential Chinese communities overseas, push CCP-friendly stories, and shut down criticism abroad.
Using everything they can.
Pretty much. People, culture, money, trying to shape what the world thinks and how governments act, and often you don't even see it happening right away.
Okay, so let's get concrete. We've seen examples of this. Well, all over, really. Democratic countries seem to be prime targets.
Definitely.
Take Canada. There were those really serious allegations about interference in their elections, right? 2019, 2021.
Yeah, claims of secret money going to candidates, like at least 11 of them.
And using community groups, WeChat.
Yeah.
Trying to sway voters.
And then those unofficial police stations they found operating there. Really controversial stuff.
Wild. And it wasn't just Canada.
Nope. Down in Australia, remember that billionaire, Huang Xiangmo? Making huge donations, allegedly influencing politicians.
Like Senator Daschary. Changed his tune on the South China Sea, didn't he?
He did. And there was even that report about them trying to, plant an MP with $1 million offer.
Unbelievable.
And we've seen similar tactics elsewhere. Europe, Germany, France, Spain, reports of community groups, media manipulation, those police stations, again, working with embassies.
Even closer to home, like the Philippines. I read about those 4 Chinese nationals arrested just this February.
Posing as volunteers, yeah. Making donations.
But actually gathering intel on naval bases.
It shows the reach.
Yeah.
And then there's the U.S., of course. Reports of hundreds of millions spent on lobbying, funding think tanks, media influence.
Those hometown associations, too. In New York, apparently doing more than just cultural stuff.
Right, involved in monitoring political ops, basically acting like those overseas police stations again.
You had Assemblyman Ron Kim in New York saying CCP-linked groups tried to get him replaced.
And Rose Pak out in San Francisco, her activities raised red flags with intelligence agencies because of her CCP ties.
So summing it up, the methods are political donations, funding elections, controlling media, especially platforms like WeChat that just echo state messages.
And sadly, direct intimidation, pressuring Chinese dissidents living abroad.
Okay, so looking at all this, it clearly backfires sometimes, right? Why keep doing it? Why does this behavior consistently, tick people off?
It's that feeling of being manipulated, isn't it?
Yeah.
The hypocrisy. You have this regime that's incredibly restrictive at home.
Yeah, controlling everything.
And then it turns around and exploits the openness of democracies, the very freedoms it denies its own people to interfere in their elections, their media, their politics.
It's a massive double standard.
Exactly. And that breeds deep distrust. It exposes the whole operation as cynical and manipulative.
And that double standard, that contrast, it isn't just about how they act abroad. It's right there inside China, too. The image they project versus the reality.
Oh, absolutely. They love showing off the shiny advanced stuff. And let's be honest, some of it is impressive.
Like the high-speed rail. Biggest network in the world, trains hitting 400 kilometers an hour.
Yeah,
that's fast.
Super fast. But, and it's a big but, remember the Wenzhou crash back in 2011?
That was awful. 40 people died.
Nearly 200 injured. All down to signal failures, officials cutting corners, rushing things.
And then the cover-up. banning media reports.
Right. It just shattered that image of advanced, safe technology they were trying so hard to build.
And didn't it come out later about the corruption, the railway minister, others?
Massive corruption, like 1.5 billion yuan involved. So how advanced is something, really, when the foundation is riddled with corruption and secrecy?
It feels like a facade.
It often is.
Yeah.
And you see the same pattern with their tech governance. They're leaders in 5G, AI, surveillance tech. They're a giant.
No doubt. But that same amazing tech
is used to build the Great Firewall, censor the internet, monitor their own citizens relentlessly.
So tech powerhouse on one hand, digital jailer on the other. A huge contradiction.
Which leads back to that question. Why keep doing these things that clearly damage their reputation internationally? Why the cover-ups, the hypocrisy?
It seems like a calculation, maybe. They figure the long-term strategic wins, protecting their power, expanding influence, are worth the short-term PR hits.
And they control the narrative at home, right? Domestic media tells the story they want told.
So they can kind of manage how their own people see it? It's a calculated risk, maybe cynical, but calculated.
Yeah, for what they see is the bigger prize.
Now, this is where it gets really nuanced. It brings us back to the title we chose. China Possessed, a nation under Marxist-Leninist haunting.
Right, and that's not just a spooky phrase. What's fascinating and kind of central to this is that Marxism-Leninism, it's not Chinese, fundamentally.
It's an import, German, Russian, 19th century.
Exactly, brought in through violent revolution. And what it did was systematically dismantle traditional Chinese culture. It replaced age-old family ethics with loyalty only to the party. It crushed independent thought.
So it's like an alien ideology took over the body.
That's a good way to put it. It's manipulating the physical nation,
right,
China, but it doesn't represent its historical soul, its deep culture. It's a kind of possession, a profound distortion.
So thinking about that, what about the people living under this, the average person in China? They aren't the CCP.
Not at all. That's crucial. Many are just people trying to live. They might genuinely love their country, their homeland, but they've been taught relentlessly since birth that the party is the country.
That the two are inseparable.
Exactly. And that's an incredibly tough spot to be in, mentally and emotionally.
It sounds tragic, honestly, because maybe they see things, maybe they want to speak out.
But the price is just too high. Free speech, that can mean jail. And not just for you, but your family could face serious trouble too.
So you're caught between your conscience and this, like, brutal reality.
It's an impossible choice, really. One nobody should face.
We've seen, though, how some Chinese people who are, let's say, awake to this reality, trying to navigate it, there seem to be different paths.
Yeah, several ways people cope or resist in their own fashion.
Some just choose silence, endurance, for their family's sake.
Survival. Others manage to get out, they immigrate, or even flee, seeking freedom abroad.
Even though they might get labeled traitors back home for doing it.
Right, then you have the really brave ones who try to speak out, but subtly, maybe through art, metaphors, always knowing the risks.
Huge risks.
And many find strength internally, turning to religion, philosophy, maybe Tibetan Buddhism, or rediscovering classical Confucianism, finding values outside the party structure.
It shows incredible resilience.
It really does. And it raises that critical point again. How should we view their choices? We absolutely cannot equate the Chinese people with the CCP.
They're distinct.
Utterly.
Yeah.
The system itself is designed to warp human nature, to condition people from childhood that the party is everything. It's not innate, it's imposed.
And being afraid in that situation, that's not cowardice, that's just reality.
Exactly. The consequences are real and severe. Not everyone can be a frontline dissident. And frankly, often the ones who are most awake, who see the contradictions most clearly, they suffer the most internally.
Because they don't fit in, but they can't change the system either.
They're stuck in this kind of spiritual limbo, just trying to hold on to who they are.
So, okay, given all of this complexity, this mix of state actions and individual struggles, what's the way forward for us, for you listening? How do we engage with this without falling into traps?
It really comes down to discernment, I think. Being able to tell the difference.
And maybe the first step is just holding on to your own sense of right and wrong, your common sense.
Absolutely. Even when you're bombarded with misinformation, with state propaganda, just maintaining your own ethical compass, refusing to participate in the lie, even silently.
That's actually a form of resistance, isn't it? You might not topple the regime, but you don't have to become part of its machinery.
That's incredibly powerful, yes. And sometimes there's dignity in silence, too. It's like knowing you're only pretending to be asleep Your conscience isn't asleep.
That's how many preserve their humanity under that kind of pressure. It's an internal strength.
A quiet refusal to compromise what truly matters.
And we should also remember there are many awake Chinese people, not just from the mainland, but Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, the diaspora who are actively working for change.
Right. Supporting democratic movements, documenting the truth, helping refugees. They're out there on the side of justice. We need to see them and support them.
Absolutely. Don't forget them.
And finally, maybe it's about patience. Waiting for the right moment, and in the meantime, passing on the torch. Keeping the truth alive.
History does turn, eventually.
It always does. And the job for those who see clearly now is to preserve memory, preserve values, so they're ready for a future when things can actually flourish again.
So next time you encounter something related to China, maybe you feel that frustration, that disgust we talked about.
Pause for a second.
Yeah, pause and ask, is this person I'm interacting with or reading about, are they an active accomplice of the party? Or are they maybe a victim caught in the system?
Are they enabling things, or are they just trying to survive? Or maybe even quietly holding on to some shred of conscience?
It requires thought.
The world needs more than just knee-jerk reactions or anger. It needs that discernment.
Yeah.
And it really needs to recognize and support those within the broader Chinese community who are fighting to keep their humanity.
We absolutely must avoid leaving everyone together based on the actions of the CCP.
That's the critical takeaway.
Wow. Okay. That was quite the journey through a complex landscape. Really makes you think beyond the simple narratives.
It does. And that's really our goal here at Sip and Talk, isn't it? To give you objective facts, different perspectives, and hopefully encourage you to do your own critical thinking.
Definitely. We're never about criticizing any whole nation or people. It's always about looking at the facts objectively, trying to understand.
Precisely.
So if you found this conversation useful, if you appreciate this kind of objective approach, please think about subscribing to the Sip and Talk podcast, wherever you get your shows.
Yeah, we'd appreciate that. And hey, while you're clicking around, check out our friend Mickey's YouTube channel. It's called Mickytolife.
Oh, yeah. Mickey's great. He does fun memes, music, vlogs about wine, travel, good stuff.
Tell me we sent you.
And Mickey specifically asked us to pass on a message, especially for our listeners in Taiwan.
Oh, right. The recall event.
Yeah, don't forget the big recall event happening on July 26th. It's a really important chance to show public opinion, make your voices heard.
Definitely get out there if you can.
Okay, thanks for sipping and talking with us today.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye for now.